The hangar was locked tight. Had been for years. The desert wind clawed at its rusted panels as a group of base mechanics stood frozen, staring at the impossible, a trail of smoke curling beneath the sealed steel doors. She's gone. Dead or worse. One of them had whispered just yesterday. But now, at dawn, the roar of an F-35 as turbine cut through the silence like a scream from the past. Inside, the jet, tail-marked gray Widow 91, was alive. Engines ignited, heat shimmered off the concrete, and there, seated in the cockpit, was Captain Maya Rios. She hadn't been seen since her unauthorized solo mission disappeared over Syria 5 years ago. Declared MIA. Buried in silence. Forgotten by the system, but Maya hadn't died. She had endured 0.5 years earlier. Maya Rios stood before a crowd in full-dress uniform. Eyes forward. Hands still trembling from the mission she'd just flown, saving 12 soldiers pinned down in the open under enemy fire. She had disobeyed a direct retreat order to stay in the sky and hold the line. They called her reckless. Her commanding officer told her she'd never fly again. But the men she saved saluted her as they limped past, bloodied but alive. One had pressed a folded photograph into her palm before boarding the evac chopper. A picture of his daughter. Tell her daddy got home because of you. That night, Maya was grounded. No trial. No medal. Just silence. Weeks later on, her final authorized patrol, her jet vanished over hostile terrain. No mayday. No wreckage. Just an empty slot on the base roster and whispers that she'd cracked the IN truth. Maya had ejected over the mountains and crawled through enemy lines for 9 days. Captured. Beaten. Interrogated. She escaped with shattered ribs and a single thought burning in her mind. If no one will clear my name, I will. She went dark. Used contacts from a past few dared speak of, rescue pilots, Black Ops veterans, mechanics who owed her everything. Over the years, in silence, they gathered what she needed. A plan, a jet, a sealed hangar on a forgotten airstrip. And this morning, it was time that as the hangar doors burst open, heat waves rolled across the runway. Sirens blared. Personnel scattered, but Maya didn't flinch. Her helmet gleamed. Her flight suit, stitched by hand, bore no rank. Only a name badge. Rios, no words. Just motion. Air traffic control demanded she abort. Fighters scrambled. The old base commander, now gray and stooped, watched the radar in disbelief. That's impossible, he muttered. That jet was stripped for parts, but it wasn't that Maya's network had rebuilt it. Quietly, patiently, out of loyalty, not orders. And now, Gray Widow 91 soared. She didn't fly to escape. She flew to prove. Streaming live from the F-35's encrypted feed, she broadcast footage from her capture, escape, and the military's buried records, names, dates, orders. Ignored. She exposed the cover-up with precision only a pilot like her could deliver. At first, silence. Then, applause. Veterans rose across the country. One by one, stories emerged of silent punishments, forgotten valor, buried heroics. And suddenly, Rios wasn't just a name. She was a reckoning by the time she landed, escorted not by MPs but by 2 Black Hawks in honor formation. Hundreds had gathered. Journalists, families of the men she saved. Those 12 survivors now stood at the edge of the tarmac, older, limping, but waiting. The first stepped forward, holding the same folded photograph Maya once clutched. You never stopped flying, ma'am. You just flew above their reach. Honor doesn't fade in silence. It waits until the silence burns. They thought grounding her ended her story, but her silence was just fuel. No charges were filed. No medals were offered, but a new hangar was built in her name. And every morning, a cadet walks past it and salutes, whether a jet stands inside or not. Because sometimes, the quietest warrior ignites the loudest change. That if this story moved you, tell us where you're watching from. What do you believe real courage looks like? And if you want more true stories of silent heroes, subscribe. We honor the ones who fly without applause until the world must look up.